I'm just going to preface this now. This is going to be a long video. It's a continuation of my last one of Black Frieza versus the rest of the Justice League. But for this versus, I'm going to actually make this kind of like a what-if slash hypothetical slash story. So I hope you guys enjoy. There's two possibilities that this fight could start off as. Either a continuation of the last video of Frieza taking out the rest of the League, at least the heavy hitters, and Superman shows up already knowing that Frieza is a threat. He'd probably immediately try taking this fight to space, because he can't really go all out on Earth. You know, the whole world made of cardboard quote and everything. And Frieza would be humored, because depending on how you scale the rest of the Justice League, Frieza realistically probably slaughtered everybody else, so he wouldn't outright immediately view Superman as much of a threat. If not, maybe just viewing him a little bit higher. But if they take it to space, depending on the version shown of Superman or the version picked, this is either going to be a very close slug match of them just trading blows until one finally gives out, or a one-sided beatdown in one direction or the other. But, in my opinion, it would be more interesting if Frieza fights a Superman first. Fights him before knowing anything else. Both of them don't know anything about each other, but they know that the other is at least somewhat strong. In this situation, Frieza is going to immediately try fighting. He's not going to listen to Superman of, let's take this to space. He's going to take any advantage he has, because unlike Goku and Vegeta, he's not honorable. Frieza is this strong, and he is willing to exploit people's weaknesses and do undermine tactics to get an edge. And with how Superman is willing to tank even the most insane, life-threatening attacks just for the sake of even protecting a single human, Frieza's going to use this to the fullest, whether it be firing death beams at random civilians or doing his good old reliable trying to blow up the planet. If he tries blowing up the planet, there's two possibilities. Either Superman speed blitzes and tries to stop the blast before it fires, or if it's not an outright speed blitz, he's not able to get to the blast in time and has to catch the blast or block it with his body. In that hypothetical, he's going to give everything he has to ensure the blast doesn't hit the planet. Because with how strong Frieza is, if even a smidgen of that energy touches the planet, it is gone. And Frieza could do one of two things here. Either pour more energy into the blast to ensure that the blast hits the planet, making it go kaboom, or taking the opportunity of the fact that Superman is basically deadlocked, stopping this blast, and do his whole, spear flying into Superman's back, sandwiching him between a powerful Superman punch, that's the best way I can describe it, and the giant energy blast hitting him in the front. Which either scenario is going to result in the energy blast hitting the Earth. Which, both characters are more than easily, quite effortlessly in fact, going to survive said planetary explosion, even point blank. Even as early as Namek's saga, Frieza is surviving blasts of this kind of caliber. And he was cut in half and pretty much running on fumes, let alone current Frieza. But Frieza shot himself in the foot here, because, again, depending on the version of Superman here, either way, he's going to be going all out, because the planet's gone. This Superman lost everything. Lois, all of his friends, the entirety of Earth's populace. He was trusted to protect this planet, and he failed. So, we'd see a pissed off, fully unrestrained Superman. And again, depending on version shown, that is either going to make it to where he is fighting dead even with Frieza, or an absolute bloodbath. But whether he loses this fight or wins, he technically loses anyways because the Earth is gone. Either he beats Frieza and then he just has to wander around space until either he finds some way to bring everything back, or he just can't, and he just has to live with the fact that he didn't take Frieza serious enough from the beginning to take him down. But if it's dead even, and Frieza eventually takes him down, then he still loses, and Frieza would live on being a terror to the rest of the universe. And the only good thing is that he'd get to see everyone in the afterlife. And people always talk about Goku versus Superman, and I get why people argue both sides, and I get why people say Superman wins. Because Goku is honorable, he's not going to exploit stuff like Frieza. And the fact that Frieza is incomprehensibly above the likes of Superman, because Frieza knows Gogeta existed. He knows how strong Goku and Vegeta are, how fast they grow, and he knows how much stronger Gogeta is than either of them individually. And the fact that he left them alive, despite knowing all this, should terrify everyone. Meaning, he's confident in the fact that even if they fused into Gogeta and went into either Ultra Instinct or Ultra Ego, that he'd still have a chance, which is scary. Because if Frieza is on that kind of level, he is a much, much better combatant against the likes of Superman than Goku or Vegeta are currently. Most people view Superman as a multiversal threat, and I'm not meaning this in the terms of like scaling, but in the terms of just how people view him in universe. Like any common person knows that threats to the universe, that Superman can deal with threats to the universe, and it takes threats to the multiverse to be able to overpower the likes of Superman. Goku was a threat to the entire Universe 7 macrocosm when he first acquired God Ki, and Black Frieza is undeniably not even comparable to that version of Goku. Let alone even current Goku. Current Goku got speed blitzed in one shot with a form that gives you heightened perception. And Vegeta had a form that made him a juggernaut that turned pain into damage, and he got one shot. The forms, neither of them were able to do anything because they got one shot and speed blitzed, making this Frieza tiers, not just a single tier, but multiple tiers above either Goku and Vegeta, and probably either on par or, in his view, confidently above the likes of Gogeta. And with that kind of power, back behind the fact that he is more than willing to use underhanded tactics to get even cheap shots, because Frieza is not an honorable fighter. He will do whatever it takes to ensure victory, even if it comes at a humiliation of himself. Which, unless Superman loses a lot of stuff, he's not going to immediately try going for killing blows. Which, killing Frieza is already difficult, because this man could survive getting bisected and cut into literal cubes. Remember, in Resurrection F, when he was cut into chunks by Trunks? That rhymed. He wasn't dead then. Even despite being basically cut into sushi, he was still sentient. Superman's only gonna go that level of brutality after he's already lost pretty much everything. And even then, he's not going to immediately go for the killing blow. He's going to try and see if there's any possibility first of bringing them back before he finally just says screw it and takes him down. So, whether you guys think that I am overhyping Frieza or underhyping Superman, again, this just depends on the version of Superman used that'll either make this interesting or one-sided stomp. But to me, it is much more interesting than the current Goku and Superman debates. Because unlike Superman and Goku, who are both noble, Frieza is the most underhanded character and is quite easily and wouldn't hesitate to blow up the planet if he has even a figment in his imagination that he has a chance of losing. And with the fact that Superman is literally willing to put his life on the line to ensure even a single human life is spared, Frieza will not hesitate to exploit that in every way possible. Making it to where, depending if they use a very strong version of Superman or the average Superman, Frieza could possibly win this. But I've been rambling for almost 9 minutes already. I'm going to end this off here. What do you guys think a scenario would happen if both of these characters, Full Power Black Frieza and Superman, were to fight each other? How do you think that fight would go? What kind of interesting things do you think would happen? And do you think any of my ideas were dumb? Do you think they were good? What do you guys think?